Lesson 8.3, Multiplying Polynomials. Our essential question is, how do you multiply binomials? So remember, binomials each have two terms in them. One method that can help you is called the FOIL method. The FOIL method is first, outside, inside, last, or first, outer, inner, last. It's an acronym that stands for the combinations of terms that you're multiplying. And it can kind of help you out to remember that when you're multiplying binomials, you're not just going to get two terms. There are four of them. So you multiply together the first term in each. Then you multiply the outer terms, which would be the very first term and the very last term. Then you multiply together the inner terms, so the two that are on the inside, and then you multiply together the last terms. I'm going to show you two different ways of connecting the FOIL method. One way it looks more like the distributive property, and then the other way it looks like a cute smiley face. So whatever method you choose to use, whatever way you connect them, as long as you multiply and find all of the different products, you'll be fine. So this first one says find the product. And we're multiplying together x plus 8 times x minus 4. So these are each binomials because they each have two terms. So two terms each. I'm going to show you how to use the distributive property and connect them. So I'm going to start with the x. Start with this first term, and I'm going to distribute it to each of the terms in the other binomial. Then I'm going to move over to the 8, and I'm going to distribute that one times each of the terms in the second binomial. By doing this, I am using FOIL. So first, outside, inside, last. So the first ones that I connected x to x. X times x is x squared. Then the second one that I connected, I stayed with the x and I connected it to the 4. X times negative 4. Negative 4 would be negative 4x. Then my third one, I moved over to the 8 and I connected the inner terms. 8 times x is 8x. And then last but not least, 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. So my first terms were in green. So this is the first term in each. Then I moved to the outer. The outer would be the first and then the very last. Like if you were thinking about reading this problem, the first thing you read and the last thing you read, we call those the outer terms or the outside. Then I moved over to the inside. The inside would be these two, the 8 and the x. And then the last one in each, the 8 and the negative 4. So I've got all of my combinations. Now I can put it together. I've got x squared, and then my two middle terms you may notice are like terms. Combining them gives me a positive 4x, and then negative 32. So x squared plus 4x minus 32 is my answer. So I multiplied two binomials together, and I happened to end up with a trinomial. All right, the next one. So distributing again. So FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. So start with the 2x, multiply it by x. First term in each, 2x times x is 2x squared. Outside. So I'll put an F by that one. That was my first. Outside, I stayed with my 2x, but now I distribute it to the 6. 2x times 6 is 12x. Inside. 1 times x is 1x. And then last, 1 times 6 is 6. Now I can put together my like terms, and that gives me 13x. So 2x squared plus 13x plus 6. Now I'm going to still do FOIL, but I'm going to connect them to make a smiley face. So, first, 5x times 2x is 10x squared. Outside, 5x times negative 8 is negative 40x. Inside, negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. And last, negative 4 times negative 8 is positive 32. Combine my like terms, and I get negative 48x. So I have 10x squared minus 48x plus 32. As you should be able to tell by now, it's pretty common to get a trinomial. Pretty common to get a trinomial when we multiply together two binomials, because typically you'll have one set of like terms. So it would be something that you could expect when you are solving your homework problems, that you would multiply your binomials and end up with a trinomial. There are some special cases where different things will happen, but today I'm pretty sure most of you should give you a trinomial. Okay, now moving on to some word problems. Our question here, Jen is building a garden in the corner of her yard. Write an expression in square feet for the area of her garden. Well, her garden is shaped like a triangle, and the area of a triangle, hopefully you remember from a previous course, is base times height divided by 2. And this looks like a right triangle. So on this triangle, we can think of the base as the bottom and the height as how high it stands. So we are going to take those polynomials, base 6x plus 4, and multiply it by the height, x minus 7, and then we are going to have to divide that by 2. So let's do our FOIL. So first, 6x times x, 6x squared. Outside, 6x times negative 7, negative 42x. Inside, 4 times x, 4x. And last, 4 times negative 7, negative 28. Okay, so now we can put together those like terms. So negative 42 plus 4 is negative 38x. So it looks like multiplying the base times the height gives us 6x squared minus 38x minus 28. And remember that we have to divide it by 2. So if I divide each of those by 2, my area would be 3x squared minus 19x minus 24. And that would be units squared because it's an area. So we multiply together the base, so this was our base, times our height. We had to FOIL in order to multiply those because they're binomials. And then we took that answer and divided it by 2. To get our final answer, 3x squared minus 19x minus 14 units squared. Okay, our next one. Anna's building a deck around her pool. If the deck is x feet away from every side, write an expression for the total area of the pool and the deck. So we're looking for the entire area of the pool and the deck. So we know the area of the pool, the area of the pool we could find by multiplying 20 times 15. But we don't know the area of the deck. So I don't want to approach it by adding the pool area plus the deck area. I want to just look at that entire rectangle, the entire rectangle. So if the deck is X feet away from every side of the pool, that means X feet on each side. So here's the question that I have for you. How long is the pool plus the deck? So we know that it's 20 feet right here, but then we've got this X on each side of it. So if I add that length, it's X plus 20 plus X, which is the same as 2X plus 20. Hopefully you follow. Now, if I look at it the other way, so now we're talking about this distance right here being 15, and then I've got my X and my X that I need to add on. So now I've got X plus 15 plus another X. So this would be 2X plus 15 for my new width. So I am going to take that information and I am going to multiply it to get the area. The area of a rectangle is base times height, or length times width. So my new length is 2X plus 20, and my new width is 2X plus 15. I just need to FOIL it. And then I'll have the area of the pool and the deck. So first, I have 2X times 2X, so 4X squared. Then outside, 2X times 15 is 30X. Inside, 20 times 2X is 40X. And last, 20 times 15 is 300. Now I can combine my like terms. So my final area of the pool and deck, 4X squared plus 70X plus 300 units squared. So again, when the deck is X feet on each side of the pool, you are adding 2 X's. One on each side, you're adding 2X to the length, and you're adding 2X to the width to get your polynomials for the length and width. And then we just multiplied them together to get the area because the shape was a rectangle. You should be able to write a summary now and ask your teacher what your homework assignment is, or check on their website for their calendar.